Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final day of North American Challenger League season number 11 qualifier 2. My name is Jesse J. Chicken. We're back, of course. We've got a couple of friends with us. Intrinsic is going to be co-casting with me, as well as Ty doing the observing for us. Welcome, Intrinsic, to the call. This is your first time casting with me.
Yeah, I'm really excited. It's actually my first time doing anything ESL related, so I'm really interested to join in here. We have two really good teams. We have OTF being in first place for this qualifier, I'm pretty sure, and then LOLXD in third. So we're definitely going to be seeing a fairly close match in terms of points overall. And that's Trick, I think, for the last player to join in to the lobby. So we should be ready to go as soon as we get ours.
These two squads should be pretty good. There's not a ton of really well-known names. There are some known players, certainly, but these aren't like ex-pros or anything. But they have done really, really well so far in the qualifiers. LOLXD playing with Squad of Squid, Stevo, Bowery, Lava Girl, and Patrick. And OTF playing with ZZ Shrines, Timzy, Glowmoji, and AIM. If you've watched all of the qualifiers I've done on this channel, then you've seen both of these teams before. We're getting live into the match now. Cafe is our map, and we'll start this ban phase. As a former coach of a couple of CL and PL teams, Intrinsic, what do you expect to see for the bans on Cafe?
It really depends. Cafe has kind of been one of those maps where the bans vary, but one of the ones that we've seen more common recently is a Thatcher ban, just because teams don't want to have to worry about it. And right out of the gate, we see Thatcher from OTF. And it's actually interesting because Thatcher is a band that has been relatively known for LATAM, and we've seen it more in Europe and NA as we've come into this season of PL, and it's actually very interesting because it actually changes the meta of a lot of maps, because you have to just totally disregard the bandit trick, because you can just put the bandits down and then just prevent. And Twitch actually coming out too, so that's two anti-gadget operators just right out of the gate being banned. So we're going to see a lot of electricity operators, Kite and Bandit, of course, coming out to prevent walls from being open. So teams are going to have to get creative, and I expect Maverick to come out at least a few times. Red Wall being one of the main ones, and then, of course, in Bakery, trying to get the Bakery wall open are two very big points of the attack for top floor and the kitchen site, respectively. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no worries. I mean, Mira being banned off is relatively standard in a Kaid. So yeah, I mean, that makes so much sense with what you were talking about. Going to be very difficult for the attacker to deal with those electrical operators. Kaid being taken off the board helps balance things out a little bit, right? You'd have a really tough time attacking on this map if Kaid was still in there. As well, just like a fairly strong operator all around, even when those two operators aren't banned out on the attack. So I think those defensive bans make just as much sense as the attackers.
I mean, yeah, we see that the Kai ban coming out, kind of showing that OTF's already starting to plan their attack side, because they will be starting on defense, and while racking up a lot of points early in the game is very well and good, you also have to be on attack for at least one round guaranteed. So making it impossible to attack is not something you want to do in the ban phase. So getting rid of the Kaid means that, at least for the kitchen site, you can go and play the vertical game and try to open up the floor to get the angle onto the Bakery wall so you don't get bandit tricked. And at least for operators, we're going to be seeing pretty standard. I think the most interesting one we're going to be seeing is a Blackbeard come out with quite a few windows on Cafe. Blackbeard's going to be very potent as an operator, because you can just sit there and peek and at least take a few bullets to the head before you are going to be down. So it gives you a little bit of extra time to react, and it's going to be pretty interesting. We will see the Mozzie come out from ZZ, so we're going to see a little bit of anti-intel play coming out from the defense. And it's very interesting because at a high comp level, if you're not familiar with it, your drones and your intel is one of the biggest points of the attack. And if you lose that, you'll see that most of the attacks start to flounder.
So again, I like to say this is the start of every stream, but I'm watching chat. If there's any audio issues, video issues, anything that needs to be addressed, let me know. We're on a 4.5 minute delay as per ESL regulations, so I'm not going to be able to fix it immediately, but I am reading your comments, and I'll be able to hopefully deal with those issues if there's something wrong. So don't be afraid to let me know. With that said, we are starting off the match again here on Cafe. Starting on that bottom floor, a little unorthodox. I mean, people do tend to like this bomb site of Kitchen Bakery. I guess not Bakery anymore, but the kitchen, two kitchen bomb sites that we have down here. Usually people are going to start on that top floor instead, but I don't think it's the craziest thing in the world to be starting on the bottom floor for your first round.
Oh, of course not. It is one of the two sites, and it's kind of the theme we see in Siege, where there are two sites that are pretty much defender-sided overall, and you really have to get creative as an attacker to beat it. And with the Mute Mozzie combo, I did mention the Mozzie, but there is also the Mute, just further destroying the intel game coming out from LoL XD. And we are going to actually see Bowery, sorry, get lit up very early in the round, about 50 seconds in, and that is your Blackbeard, your pretty much angle holder, already pretty useless at this point.
Already Bowery, yeah, so lit up. That's going to be a big problem for you if you're attacking on this bomb site. Right now, it's a lot of people just sort of standing outside of Bakery. You can see Stevo trying to open up the wall to push the Jaeger out, but unfortunately for him, there is going to be a mute jammer on that wall, so he cannot detonate those X-Kairos. Going to be a big problem for him as he continues to try to get into this bomb site. Squid takes a little bit of damage from up above, so these roamers really taking control of this map. Clearly on the defense, I mean, they've managed to lock out the attackers basically the entire building, right? You've got Glow Moji, who's finally going to eat a grenade, and he takes some damage. There's a headshot from Lava Girl to finish him off, so you finally got your entry. Now you got to actually do something with it. Maybe it's not too big of a deal, right? You've wasted so much time to get into Bakery, but because of the bomb site, Bakery is right next to where you're trying to get to. That's not the end of the world. ZZ and AIM going on a bit of roams is again going to be a big problem for you, though. If these guys come in late to the round, go for a flank and shut stuff down, you're in trouble. Stevo, again, having a lot of issues with those mute jammers. Can't open up the wall inside of the site, so you're going to have to take this through a different way. You can go through the hallway, you can push through the Bakery doorway. A couple of different ways to take this, but either way, it's not going to be super favorable for you. This Alda, though, hold up. Shrine's lighting up the enemy team. His teammate of AIM goes down to put it back to a 3-on-3, but this one is going to be an interesting take as the attackers try to work their way in.
So yeah, we see that we actually get a pick from Patrick coming out to ZZ, and that'll be your Mozzie off the board, and it's all up to the Maestro and Mute as Squad getting a pick onto the Mute, and now it's all up to Shrines on the Maestro, but he does have the Ultra, and no, we're actually not going to see the most clutch weapon in the game come out as Patrick getting the pick onto Shrines, and that'll be the first attacking round for LoL XD, putting an early lead up on the #1 team in this CL qual.
Some early struggles, clearly not going to be the death of LoL XD. I like the way they were able to push in there towards the end, you know. Moving around towards that left-hand side, going outside of the Bakery. Had a lot of struggles with those mute jammers, getting in, losing the early picks, losing your health early, but they still were able to turn it around. Good attempt from the defense, of course, to hold on with that Alda, but it just wasn't meant to be, and so that's going to be a 1-0 advantage for LoL XD. Feeling pretty good about that. Winning your initial attack, especially on a map like Cafe, I feel like is really important because it sets the pace for you, and also like you've just destroyed what was probably the defender's best bomb site. A rotation upstairs will change our location, but not a bad start at all for LoL XD.
Oh no, not at all. I mean, especially when you're coming in as the 3rd seed, some people might be expecting you not to be able to perform as well, and even me personally, I saw in the first 1.5 minutes to 1 minute and 40 seconds that LoL XD really didn't have any control over the map. They had gotten into Bakery, but there was still vertical play on the side of OTF, and it really seemed that the defensive side was going to be able to hold out without any trouble at all. But very well played from LoL XD as they are able to swing the tides in their favor towards the end of the round and securing all the frags that they needed to get their first round win and really setting the pace of this map, I feel.
So now we move on to round number 2, and again, taking a look at how this defense is setting up, it's nothing crazy out of the ordinary. They're clearly still favoring that Mute Mozzie combo that you talked about in the last round. That information denial going to be really huge here, especially with the lack of a Thatcher and Twitch. There's not a lot of tools to deal with those mute jammers, to deal with the pests as well. So it can be tough for the attackers, and clearly being taken advantage of. I like ZZ's position, breaking that shield a little bit late. There was somebody outside of the window. I'm not sure if Stevo, who was there, heard him breaking it. Him not reacting to it kind of makes me feel like maybe he didn't know that there was a Valkyrie right next to him starting to break open that window. That's a huge concern for me. You're not being able to find out those roamers. That was a struggle for LoL XD in the first round as well. They did win it, but they never really dealt with the roamers. They kind of just ignored them. So if they do that again, they could be the victim of some C4s. They're going to have to worry about all that kind of stuff. They have people downstairs, and they're about to find an engagement. Lava Girl finding some feats. But as of yet, they haven't decided to take any engagements.
No, and we will be seeing a little bit of a first gunfight. Lava Girl being the losing side of the first part of that duel, but Glowmoji actually going to be the loser in the end, as we will see a pinch come out onto him, but it's too late as Glowmoji has been picked very early by Lava Girl. Very good pick from the Maverick coming out very early, and AIM is going to be the next one to contest this attack from MolXD, and he is just going to rotate away and hopefully save his life for the second half of the round. And he is going to be in a contest with the IQ, but neither side really getting any bullets onto each other, and we will see a full HP AIM, and we will see a gunfight between ZZ and Lava Girl finally being beaten out as ZZ able to get the pick. And that is your Maverick off the board, and now you don't have one of your hard breachers, and AIM coming out as he's being jackal track, getting a pick onto Patrick, and that is your Ash being down. That is your entry. It is entry versus entry, and AIM struggling to get that drone, but he is going to be able to have free reign of this bottom floor. Very well played from him to swing up and put a thorn in the side of this attack from MolXD.
Oh, and here we see AIM knows that there's another player down this first floor with them. I don't know if he knows this one, though. Takes another gunfight, eats about half of his health away. Squad of Squid on the other side of that engagement. Now he leaves it to his teammate. It's Bowery to even out those numbers, finally finding the roamer on that first floor. So you've dealt with them, but you've lost a lot in that engagement. Now you got a 40 seconds to come back to the bomb site and try to work your way against it. ZZ takes the head off of Squad of Squid, so rotating up from that bottom floor, wasn't able to make it home successfully. ZZ gets downed though, so it is going to be an even trade. 2v2 left alive on that round, assuming ZZ can't get picked up, but maybe that's not a correct assumption to make. Timsy knows somebody's on these white stairs, and he's going to hit that shot. Yes, he will. Gets the kill on a Bowery. That leaves Steve-O alone in a 1-on-2. 15 seconds as the announcer calls out. He's got that diffuser, so he's got a couple of advantages, but these kills not going to come easily. Shrine proves that with a headshot from the Elda. And OTF equalizing round number 2.
Yeah, it was very, the roam game there was something that was very notable, as the roam clear from OXD, very effective in the first half of the round, and about 1:30 we started to see them lose control of the map as AIM and ZZ able to push into what they had cleared out already and able to get a few picks and to pull back, and which caused OXD to have to rededicate players to clear out AIM that was actually rotated to the bottom floor, and that cost them time, leaving the final 2 players of LolXD to have to push in the last few seconds of the round. And again, for this third round consecutively, we will see a Mozzie mute combo as we go to the second floor reading room and fireplace site. And it seems like the intel game is really what OTF is trying to play here.
Need to locate and defuse bombs.
Definitely liking those operators in terms of the Mute-Mozzie combination. The Valkyrie as well, constantly being brought. You can tell really taking advantage of that Thatcher ban that they decided to go with, and the Twitch ban really just helping them in that sense. Perhaps the gun will be something they miss when they move over to the attack, but either way, they seem to be benefiting from those 2 attacker bans at the moment. They're going to continue to hold on this top floor, which is pretty expected from these squads. Again, all about verticality in Siege if you can. Typically, you're going to want to be playing up top, so this isn't anything unusual to see from them. What I am interested to see from this attack, though, is if Private Rick, aka Patrick, can survive a little bit longer and deal some damage, because he's known to be a good gunner in these qualifiers, but hasn't really been one to light up the scoreboard just yet.
And we see that from time to time. Some players just take a bit to wake up. This is their second match, so maybe there was something in the first map that kind of threw him off his game. And as a competitive player, you really have to be able to reset and just recover for the next game. And I expect that at some point in the game we're going to see it. It's still pretty early in this match. We are in round 3, so there's still time for him to wake up. But we will be keeping an eye on Patrick to see whether or not he actually wakes up and gets these frags. And for the defense side, we will see the top floor hold, of course, being the vertical play, the name of the game on Cafe. But we do see ZZ actually on the Mozzie playing downstairs and bar area. And I don't think anybody there from OXD is going to be able to clear him. And we will be starting to see this red wall being opened up by Lava Girl on the Maverick.
Very much a top-down take being utilized by LolXD this time around. They put everybody on the roof, and they've slowly started to drop people down through that hatch. Perhaps Shrines will be one of their first engagements. He's got a couple of Maestro cams up here, of course, to help him out. But being droned means he's going to be forced to retreat, going back down to the bomb site. Pretty safe bet. I mean, you want to keep your Maestro alive as late into the round as you possibly can, so I like that he's not afraid to run away. You've got Glowmoji in a good position to go for another engagement if you want to continue to put pressure on these roamers, but this Jackal could certainly make it a little bit more difficult. Patrick's starting to open up the floorboards with that Ash utility that he's got on him. Glomoji actually rotating downstairs, so this has been a common strategy we're seeing from OTF. They're putting players on off floors, and they're letting them stay down there for a long time. Partly that's because LOLXD is also letting them do that. I like this angle from Patrick. His teammate's going to go down, and he will as well. Unfortunate, they looked away at the wrong moment. Glomoji finds his head, and the defenders find themselves in a 5-on-3. Diffuser being held by them as well, and AIM picking up another kill onto Lava Girl means this round has just gone from bad to worse for LOLXD. The top floor is more or less theirs, but that's probably not going to be good enough.
Yeah, we will see that right now LOLXD is going to have to recover. We saw some vertical play come out from the Ash, but as Patrick is picked off and using both of his charges, but no, ZZ's going to get a pick on red stairs as he is able to defend the diffuser away from the attack, and he is going to get claymored by Squid from beyond the grave, getting a kill onto ZZ. It is still a 5v1, but with the HP disadvantage, well, it's not a disadvantage because they still have more than what. I'm actually just going to stop that thought because Timsy is going to shut down Bowery. Man, I cannot say that name. Bowery. I will get it eventually, guys. And it's just going to be a very quick third round for OTF as they're able to pull another one for their defensive half, bringing them to a 2-1 split so far.
There's a mall near where I grew up called Bower Mall, and so that's helping me with Bowery's name. I hope maybe it could be I'm mispronouncing it, but based off of the malls I've grew up with, that's his name to me, and I'm not gonna change how I pronounce it, even if I am proven wrong. I think if you look at that last round, a lot of it was just due to the roams, right? For most of that, taking the diffuser by ZZ was pretty huge. Now you've got to push, or you've got to get them to push into you. None of the early gunfights went in favor of LOLXD. Some of that was just due to positioning. Some of that was because of poor timing or poor aim. Whatever it may be, you got to kind of win your ones. And if you're not going to win your ones, you got to have somebody there for the trade. Neither of that was happening for LOLXD, and because of it, OTF are going to take the lead for the first time this match. They've completed a site rotation as well. They've gone both to kitchen, top floor, and reading room, so they're going to go back downstairs. They didn't win this one the first time, but they're going to try it again here in round number 4.
Yeah, and something I want to point out in terms of the operator lineups for at least the attack so far is for the first 3 rounds, something that I noticed and I really wanted to say, but it really never came up, was that there wasn't a whole lot of soft destruction coming out from OLXD, and with the Maestro on board consistently is you really want to bring somebody other than Ash, because we saw Patrick get picked off pretty early, or using his breaching charge or breaching round somewhere else. He got one Maestro cam in that last round, but then used the other on the floor, and that left all of the soft destruction capability up to the Jackal with the secondary shotgun. And I do see that they have switched to the Sledge, bringing a little more soft destruction capability, which is good for them. They've read into this hold, and just as they do that, we will see the Echo come out. So a little bit too late for them, as they have switched to the soft destruction a bit too late. And we will start seeing this entry into Bakery come out as burning the ADSs with their flash grenades. And Glomoji actually not even going to be contesting this Bakery as he pulled back to round tables.
Still looking for a bit of an entry for these attackers. They haven't found too much yet. The newcomers again going to prove to be quite a problem for LOLXD. They haven't really found a solution for them. Holding on side of the angles though, Shrine's also not being able to find anything just yet. This hold has been pretty much the same as we saw from before. ZZ holding up top. This time there is a little bit more pressure on him. He's got aim with him on the Vigil, which could be pretty deadly. But you're worried about them coming in for late rotates. That was strong in the first round, even though they lost it. So hopefully there's somebody in these attackers who can deal with it. The drone's going in, and Patrick is at the window, so it reads to me that they're looking for him, but maybe not far enough. Glomoji gets some kills on a Lava Girl, and with it, looking for another one. Looks like it'll be Shrines to get one on Bowery instead. Patrick gets the trade on a Glomoji, so kills kind of falling apart for the attackers, and again, those roamers up top not helping.
Yeah, and something I want to see now from OTF is last time they had the man advantage, but as the the clock started to tick down, they really lost their man advantage and weren't able to secure the round. So I want to see them play their man advantage, play for the refrags, not get too crazy on the aggression, because there is a certain amount of reasonable aggression that you put onto these sites, but at a certain point you have to know to stay back and play your advantage. And we will see Squid getting another pick on his ZZ, as AIM getting immediately refragging rather, as we are now in a 2v3, but with the HP about even between both teams. It is going to be a very close contention onto this site.
Yeah, AIM surviving with a sliver of health after that engagement. Timsy's about to find some competition around the corner. He's going to peek with the SMG-11, but he's not quick enough to find the kill. A wall being opened up by Steve-O as he's used one of his 2 exothermic charges. He's still got his teammate Patrick as well, holding the opposite angle, so they can meet up if they want to. Steve kind of looks like he wants to try to push through that freezer. He's taking some damage because of it. Has to back off now. AIM up on those hatches is going to make it very, very difficult. He'll get pushed from Steve-O, who through the softwall tries to find him. His teammate goes down. That's not going to make things any easier. You've got very little HP, 20 seconds to make something happen. 3 defenders, 2 of them are pretty lit up. 1 or 2 bullets, you just snipe one of them through the soft wall. Bye-bye Shrines. But this is still going to be a little bit too much, as Timsy proves with the C4. OTF take round 4, and with it 3 in a row.
And it was, to my point of trying to play your advantage, we kind of saw them stay aggressive, but the refrag coming out from the top floor roam where they were holding vertical, AIM on the Vigil able to get the refrag onto Squid. Very well played, as they lost a man, but were immediately able to keep the man advantage as they got the refrag back onto the Hibana. Very well played from them, and we will be seeing a bar cocktail hold for the 5th round of this match. And what do you expect to see this time, as we've seen that OTF has, excuse me, rotated their hold. We saw the Maestro to Echo last time when they were playing Kitchen, and that was a little bit of a audible that they called in the middle of the game, and I want to kind of see them do the same thing on the top floor, as last time it was due to the roam that they had in this aggressive posture that they had on the second, or rather since it was top floor, on the 1st and 2nd floor. And do you think they're going to try to do the same thing, or are they going to try to fall back?
I mean, I would anticipate it. Typically, if it ain't broke, don't fix it is a pretty good rule to go by in Rainbow Six. In their last hold, certainly there wasn't a whole lot broken about it. I'm mostly interested of these attacker changes that have been made. Of course, Bowery moving from the from one shield to another in a sense. Of course, getting off of the Blackbeard and going to the Montaigne. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about a Montaigne on this map. I don't think it's something you see all too commonly. Of course, they know the bombs that they're going to be going up to, so they can be pretty confident that this is how they want to use the Montaigne. So you've got that going for you, but I'm still not super convinced that this is going to be the play from them.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you see a Monty come out as some players start to lose confidence in their gunfight ability, and it really normally comes out against more of your aggressive teams, which is kind of counterintuitive, because when you have a Monty, you're pretty much restricted in what you can do. So against the more aggressive teams, you're going to have to really plan out where you drop and where you play. And we are going to see an aggressive C4 come out from ZZ, unable to catch anyone, and not even a lick of HP taken off from the attack, as we do see, I think that's a Valcam outside watching over Red Hatch. Very well played, and they do have an IQ, and I think they've actually pinged it. So that Valcam is no longer going to be a factor in this game, as Bowery's starting to peek this Red Hatch, and hopefully to drop soon, because a minute into this round, they have to really start making a move at this point.
For me, that Valcam still stayed up way too late, though. I mean, you're a good 30 seconds into the round, and you've had some people on the roof for a while. That should have been Lava Girl's sort of first priority, was dealing with that, because it gave away that you have a Montaigne who's going to drop into the building right now. That could have been a little bit better hidden. Obviously, a Montaigne, not the easiest thing to hide with how big and clunky he is, but still something to think about. He aggresses now. Patrick finds ZZ from behind, so the Valkyrie not going to be a threat any longer. Of course, that was the one to get the initial information. You're worried about this a little bit if you're the attackers, and that's why Squad of Squid is downstairs right now, waiting for one of the attackers to come on in. I think the Jackal pick is in large part response to the fact that they have been very aggressive on their roams, and so you can bring that now. You feel a lot safer if you can hunt those guys down. Squid doing a good job now, as our observer will highlight. Glowmoji hiding behind a corner. All that currently separates him between the Jackal, and he's gonna peek. He doesn't realize the Jackal is there, and Squad of Squid will hit the head, win the fight onto Glowmoji. That's a very good roam clear coming out from him, something we haven't really been seeing from LOLXD the past couple rounds.
Yeah, that's one of the things that is so incredible about Siege, is most times it's a game of feet, and we saw that the Jackal and Mozzie were feet of each other, both probably knowing that they were there. Maybe not so much as the Mozzie being flanked, and the plan actually coming down as the entire push is starting to come out now, and nobody from the defense is actually going to be there to contest, and Lava Girl getting a pick onto AIM that is a Jaeger down is all up to the Maestro and Mute, and the Mute is going to be picked off by a team kill Shrines. unfortunate, and Lava Girl securing the kill onto the Maestro, making round 5 a win for the attack for LoL XD.
Couple big things that differentiated round number 5 from every other round we've really seen for LoL XD. First of all, winning those fights against the roamers. I think that the Jackal play coming out from Squid was really, really huge to stopping that. Obviously, we highlighted the fight up against the Mozzie, but even the first roamer to go down, ZZ, I believe it was a pretty huge deal for them. So you take that early player advantage, and then the Montaigne plane from Bowery was really, really effective, especially in combination with Lava Girl. Those last 3 players all died as a result of Bowery pushing in to the top of White Stairs. 2 of them gained by Lava Girl, and of course 1 from a team kill as well. I mean, it doesn't really matter how you get the kills, right? As long as the enemy team goes down, that's the main priority. We moved to Reading Room Library, and I just saw a Thermite 6-pick over to a Gridlock with no other hard destruction. That's weird to me.
Well, I mean, it is reading, and they probably have read into that, and at this point, there isn't a whole lot of soft destruction that you normally do. We do see that the default plan is right next to that doorway in the top right of your screen there, from right in the doorway that Glowmoji actually just ran through, the doorway from pillars into the reading site, and what that means is that the hard destruction is not really the goal here, and the vertical play is. So if the attacking team is confident enough in their ability to push from red stairs and from the hatches into the top floor, then maybe you opt out of the hard destruction and opt more for the anti-roam that we've seen come out from OTF. And with a roam that is as good as what OTF has shown, we definitely see that LoL XD is starting to read into that and bring their Jackals for the roam clear, and now the Gridlock for the roam clear. And it's very well read and very well thought out for them. Very, very good adaptation from them.
So you've started to see the beginning of this round, and again, this will be the last round we have before the side swap. And looking to make it a 4-2 split for OTF, that'd be fairly respectable. Again, you talk about Cafe as a relatively defender-sided map. It's also not the most shifted in terms of the maps that we see for one side or another. Bowery's still going to bring out that shield, and again, with how well it worked the first time, I don't hate it. I think especially because you take a look at this push, it's basically the same sort of a push, right? You're still going to be taking over this top floor. A lot of the angles are still going to matter just as much as they did last time. So you can bring the same strategy, and it will work to at least a certain extent. Shrines takes a bit of damage early on, just to an angle he wasn't expecting to get caught out from. ZZ with the Toxic Babes is also going to be a bit of a threat for Bowery, but that first one doesn't really do a whole lot in terms of damage. Stalls him out for a little bit, but Bowery will be fine for now.
Yeah, the smoke coming out from OTF is one of the reads that you don't really about more often, because when you have the Monty rather, if you have a good player on it, such as Bowery, then you want to bring that smoke, because then the Monty has to really think about where he's pushing, because if he goes too far in, you throw a smoke behind him and he either has to go forward or walk through that smoke. It's well thought out from OTF, but it doesn't seem to be well executed, as we've seen 2 smokes now wasted and the third one coming out. Not to do much, we bring about 25 HP off of Bowery on the Monty, and now it's just going to be the gun for ZZ, and Tenzi actually getting a pick with the C4 onto the, I think that was the Jackal.
Jackal, yeah.
Yeah, so very good pick if you are going to continue the roam, and a minute left. Having the roam now would be a very good idea, because that means that is more time wasted as Bowery pushes down those white stairs to kind of get the angle onto Glowmoji, as he will rotate down to the first floor by white stairs.
Bowery is kind of alone right now, so it's more pressure than any opportunity to say to kill. He's going to probably need a teammate to come around either behind him or in front of him and go for a flank to get that one. Of course, the attacker's inside of a player disadvantage, so they've got to work around this somehow. Patrick perhaps going to be the one to equalize. He's in a good spot to find one of these 2 players that Bowery is currently distracting. Even with Bowery like holding off 2, that might just be enough to give the player advantage pseudo-ly in favor of the attackers. And that's exactly what Patrick's going to do. Taking advantage of his teammates' distractions, finds Tinzy and equalizes those numbers. Patrick eventually does get returned as ZZ is able to find that frag. Now comes in the drop from Steve-O, but he's not aware of the player inside of Laundry, leaving it just to Bowery with the shield. And this is one of the worst situations to find yourself in. It's a totally lost round from Bowery. We'll go for the pistol and get the kill just for fun. But we all know that this is totally irrelevant. OTF will take round number 6 and make it a 4-2 half.
Yeah, Bowery there just doing it for the Siege GG, just trying to get the KD up a little bit, and he will do that by getting the pick onto the Maestro. Very poor angle holding from the Maestro as he is unable to kill the ADS Monty. Not something you see every day, but it is what it is, and we're just going to have to move forward at this point. And we will see the side switch as LOLXD moving for their first defensive round. And we will see the Mute Mozzie combo transcending all teams to be just a very good strat overall, as we see Bowery on the Mute and Lava Girl on the Mozzie. And we do actually see the Blackbeard come out as well, but no. Just as I'm hyping up the Mute Mozzie combo, we will see Lava Girl switch over to the Jaeger, probably for the more aggressive rhetoric that LOLXD want to bring out. And at a round deficit, if you're going to get more aggressive, now is when you want to do it. We do see Patrick there sitting at the middle of the scoreboard, but with the highest kill count on his team, he has woken up and he is starting to get the frags and shrines with 7 kills for OTF. 2 of their players really performing on both sides respectively. So very good to see that we're gonna be seeing a game where all of the players are playing at their peak performance, as we see a 6 kill and a 7 kill coming out in the 6th round. So their cost must be very good right now. Ooh, I don't know if you caught that. That was a very interesting setup from the Jaeger there, as all 3 ADS is just being sit right there on the corner of Cigar booth, and I'm actually intrigued by that because I don't think I've ever seen that before.
I mean, they're certainly not going to be hard to spot. If you can get an angle, they're all going to go immediately, which is a little worrying for me. I guess if you're having somebody play there, it's going to protect you a little bit from the hatch. Maybe he was just placing them down. They were getting a little too heavy for him, so we had to put them down to move them later. That could be a possibility, as he's now moved 1 of the 3 that were in a bit of a triangle. Won't pick up the last 2, though, so I guess he does want a little bit of coverage there. Quite a lot of coverage, to be honest.
I feel like I'm just going to stop pointing things out at this point, because as soon as I say something, they change it up.
I mean, hey, caster's curse. You better get used to it if you're going to keep casting.
Oh my. Who would have thought that me having the caster curse? That is a scary proposition.
It happens to the best of us, my man. It's just the way of life for us casters. Well, you take a look at this beginning of the round, and not a lot has gone on. You're going to open some of these top hatches, of course, aim with those breaching charges. You're finding a lot of those Goyo shields. This is something we didn't really touch on, but I think it's always interesting when one of those new operators gets brought out. We've seen Goyo for a little while now in the season, but I still think it's interesting because the strategies haven't been super well fleshed out. And especially here on Cafe, you can already tell that one of these teams seemingly liking to use him, seemingly wanting to pull him out, and the other team deciding against it. There's a lot of shields down there, and it can be kind of a guessing game which one's going to explode when you shoot it.
Yeah, and that's just the name of the game now with the Goyo shields. But, oh, Lava Girl getting an early pick on a Shrines. That is the top fragger already off the board for OTF. And he, oh, gee, I'm actually not quite sure. Is still going to be contesting the Skylight as, ooh, Squid being very aggressive with the Echo. That's not really what you want to see. You want to keep those Echo drones alive to the later part of the rounds, because then you can deny the plant if you have the time wasted well enough. Lava Girl still contesting the Skylight as ZZ starting to push in. Gonna have an early gunfight, I feel, with the Jaeger, and Lava Girl going to be on the losing side of that gunfight as Aim and Piano now, as well as Timsy and ZZ winning the gunfight on the IQ playing New Balk, as Patrick now contesting from Pipes, or Boards, Cocktail Lounge entrance. What is the call for that? Top of White?
I guess
I feel like I could call it so many different things, so many things that could be called. As we see the wall being opened up in a freezer by the Thermite of Timsy, and coming into the last 40 seconds of this round, we will be in a 4v4, and the HP edging in the favor of LOLXD as the defensive side coming out. And we have to see an execute come out soon with 30 seconds left in the round. These Echo drones, one that we lost earlier, is going to start becoming a very big factor now for the defensive side of LOLXD. Or Bowery. Man. Yeah, I was saying it right. Bowery in a very prime position to, ooh, Steve-O getting a pick on a Timsy in a prime position to deny this plan, as Steve-O getting another pick playing Freezer with the Maestro is going to get picked by ZZ just rushing in. Glowmoji also dropping Skylight, trying to get the pick onto the Echo, and does the Echo know? He probably knows now that you shot at him, but no, he is going to lose the gunfight to Glowmoji as the plan is starting to go down. It's all up to the Mute and Goyo as they don't seem to have a way to counter the plant, but ooh, the C4 coming out, able to get one onto Glowmoji. This is 2v1 now, all to do for ZZ as he is trying to hold this post plant. As he is going to peek out onto the New Balk. Might see Bowery. Yes, he gets a pick on a Bowery, and it's now a 1v1. ZZ going for the quad kill as Patrick contesting. He is going to get the down. Patrick winning it up, clutching it for his team, and that is going to be the first defensive round coming out for LOLXD.
Such a crazy close round we had there. Of course, coming down to the 1v1, won by Patrick, so you know, credit to him in that one. An interesting one, especially because there wasn't a whole lot of movement for the last like 30-25 seconds of that round. You saw just 4 attackers staring in the face of 4 defenders, and then 2 of them ran in and got gunned down by an Alda. It's honestly surprising to me that they even got that plant down as far deep as they did. Of course, losing in the post-plant situation, that's always unfortunate. I mean, those last final 2v2s, 1v1s, it's tough to really break down and be like, well, if he had stood over here, stood over there, there's so high pressure situations, and it can really just come down to a one gunfight here, one missed crosshair there. Really makes all the difference. I guess if I had to change something on the attack, I probably would have asked OTF to push a little bit faster. I don't really like how much time they wasted. That just made running into the Maestro all that more disastrous. They saved it and then lost it again. But you can avoid those terrible, awful, heart-pounding situations that we just had. If you push a little bit earlier, you can kind of get that stuff out of the way and then go for that explosive setup if the initial push doesn't really work out for you.
And yeah, we brought it up earlier in the round that the time delay coming out from OTF might become an issue, as they had the Echo drones still on board. They had only one, as we saw Squid, I believe, on the Echo, being very aggressive with his drones, and it's not something you really want to see, but he did leave one up, and in the post plan, I feel like they pushed outside of where his Echo drones were. So he just had to hold the angle so that he didn't get picked by the Capital. And in the end, it wasn't enough, as he was picked out, making it a 2v1, or 2v2 rather, as an equilibrium breaks out. And we do see that LOLXD able to edge out in the end. As we move on to a reading defense, we still see a setup on the top floor.
So again, as I talked about a couple of rounds ago, holding reading and holding bar can have some similar elements, just because there's going to be a pretty heavy emphasis on that top floor. No differences here. Of course, you're not going to be putting as many players on floor 3. You've got to have some people down by the bomb site. That's what Lava Girl and Stevo are currently tasked with doing, but there is a pretty heavy hold, especially on that east side from the defenders up top. So it's going to be the first thing the attackers will look to deal with, and by opening up these top roof hatches, that's going to be their main first goal and their main way to deal with it. ZZ, I don't know, having troubles with this hatch. Maybe he just wants to drop it in. Either way, his teammates are starting to find some of those footprints. They're starting to scout out where these roamers might be. No crazy positions. That's why AIM and Timsy are able to drop pretty safely. Shrines as well, already inside a piano. Bowery in a position where he could go for a peek inside a bathroom, but I don't expect that. Lava Girl's been forced off. Not really the one you want to spot with those jackal tracks, just because he's playing downstairs, but hey, it's better than nothing, and if you're not careful of this angle, Lava Girl could certainly deal damage down from below. Shotgun.
Yeah, and we
Bowery.
see.
There we go. Ooh.
As he gets the double kill, Bowery going big as he's playing bathroom, and we do see another pick come out from ZZ onto. I did buffer, so if I'm behind or in front, I'm sorry. If I'm speaking ahead of what you see or behind of what you see, just let me know. As we do see a 3v4 come out, OTF at the deficit with this top floor hold still intact. He does, ZZ walking down in pillars, gets the pick onto Bowery, as he does get lit up by, I think that must have been the Maestro in sight, as he is struggling to get that default cam, and ZZ now playing Timsy, actually getting the plant down, and it doesn't seem like any of the defenders from LOLXD able to counter this. This is the second time in a row, and dude, poor echo droning from Squid as the plant does go down. Steve getting a pick onto the player in Laundry, as 2 players now in Laundry. Timsy trying to contest this, lights up the echo as Steve is reloading. Patrick getting a pick on a Timsy, though, is now a 1v3. Patrick ending up getting the second pick on a Glomoji, able to clutch up for the second time in a row. Patrick really starting to wake up to become the player that LOLXD really need.
So we're talking about, right, in round number 2 or round number 3, I believe it was. Patrick's been a big player in these qualifiers and started off a little bit slow, but he's had some big moments, and I think that's really, really key. It can be one thing to really get that scoreboard up, right, to get that kill D all shiny and nice, to make the CGG stat guys proud, but it's another thing to get those really big impact kills towards the end of the round. That's exactly what we saw from him in round number 8. To tie up the scoreboard, 4-4 is where we currently lie, thanks to 3 in a row. No, never mind, I'm lying about that one. Would have been 3 in a row if the guys over on No, never mind. I'm reading my notes wrong. Either way, though, an interesting push.
So
and a
OTF
good
got
take.
round 6, and then
Yeah.
LOLXD able to get 2 of their first defensive rounds. So almost a 3 in a row. If LOLXD does win this round, it will be the 3. You are close. You're just predicting the future.
Maybe. I mean,
Attackers
we
need
could
to
see
locate
that
and defuse
come
as
out
many
here for
bombs
round
as they
number
can.
9, just based on how the rounds have gone so far since the half swap. Kind of leans into that. Of course, the first bomb site going the way of the attackers, and then the defenders taking that one. They're going to choose not to try the top floor again, which means that we're down here on kitchen. I think this is fine. Again, we talked about how all the bomb sites, more or less, on this map can be relatively equally viable.
Yeah, I don't think they actually have bar. Yeah, bar isn't unlocked till the next one because they were able to win it up after the clutch from Patrick. So they will be going for the full rotation now, I believe, with the more standard rotation of bar first. It is a little uncommon because we saw reading second, but the kitchen, reading, and bar being the 3 sides we normally see being in the primary rotation for teams. And in terms of what operators we're seeing, we will see the first time Bandit is played. And of course, as we brought up earlier in the right during the ban phase, we were talking about how with the Thatcher ban as well as the Twitch ban, oh, the round coming out, unable to secure the kill as Timsy gets the pick onto Bowery. I'm getting that name right, I promise you. And we will be seeing a top floor clear all the way top to bottom for OTF. And I say in this case that this is probably the safest bet for them. And I don't think anybody's actually playing upstairs from OXD, so hopefully they clear this quickly and are able to move in and start pushing this site in a more traditional sense from the horizontal orientation.
Oh, there's an opportunity for Shrine. See somebody dart past his window, and he's going to go to the other window to try to find it, just barely getting the down on a Patrick. He doesn't know, though. Of course, that shot through the window wasn't obvious that he was able to connect. Now he sees him, does he? Stevo is there, but he's got to be so cautious. Oh, up top on the stairs as well. Another player enters the game. It's Glowmoji who just backs off, and Shrines eventually goes for the rotate as Stevo backs off. So he secured the kill. No worries there. Stevo just thinks better of wasting his life on that mission of his. Decides that that's not where he wants to be, and I think that's a fairly safe bet.
I mean, yeah. I mean, they were trying to secure the player that had gone big the last 2 rounds prior, but now we're going to see a 5v3 man advantage for OTF as they are going to execute onto this kitchen site. They do have a minute and a half left, about half the round, to start moving into this site and opening up. It seems like they're going to be trying to go into freezer, but they do have the bandit charges down. They're going to have to figure out a way to get those bandit charges down, as Lava Girl playing a very aggressive rhetoric in Bakery. And very interesting to see nobody really rotating into the clear that OTF has set up so far, as they have lost their 2 more mobile operators, Bandit being the last generally aggressive operator that you should see. As Stevo getting a pick onto Glowmoji, very well played, and I feel like now for OTF, they're going to have to do it now or never, because with the Echo drones on board, both Echo drones, I'm pretty sure, they're going to have to execute soon.
Holding on to this bottom floor again. Got a small player disadvantage. Nothing you can't come back from, especially on the defense. Those drones being shut down relatively effectively. ZZ not able to get a ton of info from that. Timsy looking to open up this wall into the freezer. He's going to start with that. No mute jammers on it to stop him. Squad of Squids able to find ZZ and equalize those numbers. Just what I'm talking about. It can be fairly easy to equalize. However, he's not fast enough on that second one. Poor timing causes him to duck down and reload his gun. Shrine's pushing aggro, and he's going to be able to pick up his second of the round. Stevo coming in for the flank, but AIM is watching it. That leaves it just to Lava Girl, who finds the first one. Timsy going for that plant. Won't be able to stop it, as AIM does take down Lava Girl. Big round from AIM, actually, getting the last couple of kills there to make it another round advantage in favor of OTF.
Yeah, I mean, it was very well played from all of them. Very well covered, as we saw them, like, as soon as they figured out that the Echo was playing close, they had the IQ ready to go in and secure the kill. But we did say that LOLXD might secure the 3 rounds in a row, and I do believe we've hit them with Caster Curse again. Apologies to LOLXD and any of the fans of LOLXD. I will try not to make any predictions, as we will see the Goyo come out again for the top floor hold. That is the same operator that they picked out last time, not even showing the Mozzie this time. Lava Girl just going straight onto the Jaeger. And it seems like, I think that's the same lineup, as we do see 2 of the standard plant denial operators, of course, Echo and Maestro. Very interesting. It's not very often we see both of them play. Normally one of them's banned, but definitely not both of them played. And I think that was Patrick on the top of the leaderboard, 10 kills. So he's definitely putting the work in right now.
Yeah, of course, with Kaid and Mira being the bans, you can bring those hard anchor operators, and I always say that if they're on the table, why not bring them, right? I mean, they've been two of the most powerful defender operators that we've seen inside of Siege, and if you're allowed to bring them, then you totally should. A lot of plant denial, as you were talking about, of course, not even just the utility brought by those two guys, but of course, you've got a couple of C4s on that board as well. So stopping the plant will be pretty huge here for LOLXD. OTF, 2 rounds in a row, they've at least attempted that plant. Of course, round number 7, they were able to plant it, and then of course it was disabled, and then round number 9, you just saw them would have gotten it complete if the round didn't end. So the plant game's been really strong so far from OTF on their attacks, and I don't dislike the fact that LOLXD is bringing a lot of counter plant measures to maybe stop that from happening in round number 10.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see a team at this level, and I say this level, I don't mean to be mean. Oh, glow emoji, what a grenade onto the top fragger for LOLXD. Very unfortunate first pick. The only thing that isn't the greatest for ZZ is that he used both frag grenades to secure that kill, meaning that there are a ton of Goyo shields now that they have to figure out what they're going to do. And you do have the 2 grenades from Sledge, so we do see 1 shield actually already going down, and I did have a point to make, but I have forgotten it. There's my beautiful memory for you guys. And we will see a pretty standard push now. Red hatch being open, and we really don't see too much. Ooh, Lava Girl going to pick on a glow emoji. That is the Sledge being down. And now we will be seeing a standard push at an equilibrium, as both teams now have a 4v4, as Lava Girl able to get a pick back onto glow emoji. Glow emoji being very respectful, hitting a good shot. Lava Girl reciprocating by saying thank you. Good sportsmanship coming out from these teams. It's good to see at this kind of level, because you do see some BMs sometimes, and that's fun. And if you are familiar with the players that you're playing against, BM's good. But oh, Lava Girl getting aggressive, getting a pick on a Tenzi. Tenzi just sitting there right at the jewelry desk, and that is not going to be good, as Lava Girl getting a triple onto aim. And he's just going off now, as he now has a diffuser, and he is unable to secure the 4th kill onto Shrines, and it'll bring us to a 3v2, as the Echo Drone being very pesky and very bold, actually disorienting the IQ. That is normally not something you see, because the IQ will just pull out a scanner and shoot it, as Squid rather getting a pick on his ZZ, as all up to Shrines with very little HP, almost down by the Maestro, but Bowery gonna secure the kill, and that is gonna be round 10 for LOLXD. We are locked in a back and forth scrap of a match.
Certainly feels like this is one barreling towards overtime. We've got a 5-5 scoreboard at the moment, so we're gonna need all 12 rounds no matter what. An OT seems likely. In that last round, there was really just not a ton of momentum to come out from the attackers, right? You take a look at that, how that went down, and they weren't ever really even like close to approaching the bomb site. Like, they were there, they were in the building, they were on that top floor, but it was really the defenders who were getting aggressive a lot of the time and taking the fight to the attackers, not even letting them push into the bomb site. So I like that proactive play coming out from LOLXD. On the defense, they've been much sharper since swapping sides, and I mean, only losing 1 round of the last 4. I know that it looks like an overtime, but it honestly wouldn't surprise me if we see LOLXD just run away with this after a meh first half.
Yeah, so we saw in the first half that OTF were able to string together 3 rounds in a row, and then able to secure... my numbers are weird. Oh yeah, that's right. As they were able to secure the 6th round, meaning they had 3 in a row and then lost a round and then won. But for LOLXD, it's been a little more split up, as they won the first 2 defensive rounds. OTF obviously securing round 9, bringing them to 5, and then LOLXD securing the last round, able to equalize it. So LOLXD has shown that this defensive side is capable of stringing rounds together, and also supported by the fact that OTF able to put 3 together in their defensive half. So I think if anybody were to do it, it would definitely be the defensive half of LOLXD.
Patrick.
But again, we probably just caster cursed them.
Oh, probably. We're going to be going overtime, almost for sure. Patrick has really grown to love these Goyo shields. Using them on that top floor almost every single round has typically been his game plan. He's going to do that once more, and he's got, of course, some teammates up here with him to try to hold on for the round. It looks like they're bringing 3 up top. That's what they did last time too. And typically from the attackers, we don't see a lot of that bottom-up style of clear. They're mostly going to be getting on this roof and then trying to drop down and then going from there. The west side of the top floor of this map typically not really held by the defenders. I like the position from Glow Emoji though, already on these windows. He was so good last time. Oh, he gets on the roof, but I was gonna say he was so good last time with those grenades that if he was going for a similar type of strategy to just get those guys out of there once the ADSs are clear, that could have worked out really well.
Well, I think they decided to switch Glow Emoji and AIM, as AIM obviously went to the window pretty much immediately afterwards. We do see that Lava Girl is going to be really aggressive to this angle that she opened up earlier. Is she a girl or a guy? I'm so confused.
I believe Lava Girl's a he. It's Albatross.
Is it he?
It's Albatross's like alias. So yeah, I think so.
So I'm being trolled. Understandable.
I think so.
But he's being very aggressive, trying to play that C4 up through the hatch in Cigar Booth, and man, this Echo is so aggressive. This is crazy to see. We normally don't see the Echo drones being this aggressive, but we will see one Echo drone being down as Timsy losing quite a bit of HP. And with a minute and 20 seconds left on the round, Glow Emoji getting a good pick onto Bowery as we now are in a 5v4. A minute and 12 left in this round. Patrick being the lone defender on the top floor. And that is a Go-Yo with all to do to try to hold against this tidal wave of attack from OTF, and I actually think he's going to rotate off. He does, as Steve-O holding his rotate back, and we are going to be into the last minute now with them finally getting this top floor cleared for OTF.
Kind of like that, right? You've lost one player, sure, but you wasted about 2 minutes of that round when the attackers were really not too focused on the bomb site, so that's not the biggest loss in the world for you. You've still got 4 guns that are trained up above you. They can try to take these fights with, and a couple of those attackers running away from that second floor, choosing instead to take, again, this vertical pressure back in their hands. Patrick's going on a very interesting long flank to the basement, that first floor, try to get back towards his team. Of course, a couple of these Goyos have been popped as well, so you got to be worried about that if you're the defense. There's a first kill for Lava Girl for his team. Going to take down AIM, not too bad, looking for a second, can't quite get it. Pushing into reading, of course, are the attackers. They need to get that plant down, sort of the name of the game. You've got 10 seconds left to do it. Timsy holding the diffuser, not a lot of HP on him. Shrines is finding Steve-O, and Lava Girl gets another death on her team. Timsy's not really got any competition. It's a triple from Shrines. That Yokai, though, is it going to be enough? No, not quite. Yes! LolXD with the Yokai are going to deny the plant. They couldn't take it out fast enough. 2 shots is all it's going to take from the Echo, and LolXD push themselves to match point. What a round.
Very great utility usage there. I have been bashing this Echo play as they have been very aggressive, but that is the second time in a row, actually, that I think they've kept one alive, and it's been very useful for the XT coming out. And that was such a torrential round, as like I've gone back and forth during that round as, oh, now OTF have this for sure, but oh, LowXD have it. Oh, OTF doesn't have time anymore. It was such back and forth between both teams, and I was actually dumbfounded that Shrines was able to walk in, get 3 kills, I believe, and it was still not enough. Shrines must be very agitated as he puts himself for 13 kills. We have now 4 players in this lobby with 2 digits for kills, and it really shows in the gameplay as we are now on round 12, and we will be going back to kitchen.
That's the type of play last round that gets teams to start banning Echo against you. Of course, one of the downsides of being gassed is once you get far enough in these qualifiers into the closed quals, and even into CL if you make it that far, teams are going to start looking for your Vods, and Squid might have just put a huge target on his back in terms of what teams will be banning in the future. Doesn't have to worry about that here, of course. Entering into round number 12, and one of the more important matches he's going to play this week. Got to focus on this a little bit more urgently. At the moment, this is going to be do or die for him and his squad. If they can manage to win it right here, that'll be a 7-5 victory. They can lock it out. If not, then they're headed to overtime, and that time, again, kind of getting close to that 10 p.m. You got to be a little bit careful. Closing out matches quickly is pretty important in this Swiss format.
I mean, yeah, we've seen time and time again teams that aren't able to manage their time, get too aggressive, get too held back, and it's really something you have to find the happy medium with. And It's something that you have to do over scrims and practices, and I'm actually very surprised to see this. And you're pointing to the Echo and having it banned now. This is one of those matches that this is where you save strats for this match. When you come up to the team that's number 1, then you go, oh, this is where we lay it all down on the line. This is where we lay it all out. And LoLXC has really shown that they can do it. They are able to stand with these top teams, and both teams showing themselves to be very capable, and it really shows in this matchup.
We're seeing a little bit of utility being used by these attackers. Not afraid to open things up. A very different take from what we saw coming out from LoLXD when they had to push this bomb site. Very much top down. Whereas before we saw a lot of people just sort of hiding outside of that bakery. This time around, there's been a lot of pressure from the attackers up above. Partly of that is going to be due to how much soft destruction they brought. Of course, ZZ on the buck doing a lot of work to these floorboards. Almost wasted that entire skeleton key. Bowery will be out of the regular time. Him falling means that his teammates are going to have to band together if they want to shut out the match right here. They've still got 4 alive, which isn't too bad for them. They're going to engage in another fight. You hear Patrick rattling off his carbine, but as soon as he gets pushed, he just runs down those stairs, clearly not wanting to take that engagement. These defenders locked into their positions. They've totally given up the top floor. The attackers in prime position to push on down, but of course, that's the moment where it could all fall apart.
Yeah, and we see that the intel utility with the drones coming out now as they see that the Maestro is playing very aggressive. Seen again, I believe, Stevo trying to play a very unusual Maestro, but if it works out, it works out. And with 40 seconds left, ooh, aim, swinging and getting the pick on a Stevo. Very well played from him. It is now a 3v5 on site with 30 seconds left. OTF is going to have to do something now, but with the man advantage, they're probably not too sweat. As Squig is very aggressive, Tenzi is going to get downed as ZZ rushes for the refrag, as I think one also dropped the hatch. That was IQ of Shrines, yes. But Lava Girl getting a pick on aim. It is now a 3v3 with 20 seconds left. OTF have to make a move now, and there is still a ton of utility on the board for LoLXC as they have the Echo, and I don't know if he has any drones, as Patrick getting a pick on his ZZ. We are barreling towards a LoLXC victory as Shrines and Glowmoji, the last 2 alive for OTF, as Glowmoji getting a pick onto Lava, and Echo peeking doesn't seem to show that they have it, but yes, Squid getting a pick onto Shrines, that it will be the diffuser going down, and LoLXC getting the first win for us casting. Very well played from them, and they will actually topple the first place team right now. Very well played from them, and that was very impressive showing for LoLXD.
If that match didn't prove to you why these are some of the top teams in the qualifiers, then I don't know what will. A very impressive match from both sides. LoLXD take it 7-5 at the end of it. Again, going into this matchup, LoLXD were placed 3rd on the leaderboard of over 100 teams, and OTF were placed 1st. So they did very well, both those squads in the first qualifier, and then they've kept it up here in qualifier at number 2. As you mentioned, the first game for us on the night, but the second last match for this qualifier as a whole. Of course, there's 9 games played over the week. That was game number 8. There's going to be one more match coming up for us on this channel, and one more match for all of the teams that are still alive in these qualifiers. It's going to happen in about 15 minutes, so go get some popcorn, go use the bathroom, whatever you need to do. In the meantime, we'll be here playing some tunes, but make sure you come back in about 15 minutes for the last match of the week.
We can work it Walking on ice, paper thin, skating on the surface of what might have been. Do you wanna be set free? Voices in the sound of the cracks all singing to me. Do you wanna be set free? If you come back looking for me, keep your eyes off the ground. Let me hear you take off for a drive. If you come back looking for me, if you come back looking for me, if you come back looking for me, I'll be walking on ice, paper thin, skating on the surface of what might have been. Do you wanna be set free? Voices in the sound of the cracks all singing to me. Do you wanna be set free?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the last match of the North American Challenger League, season number 11, Qualifier 2. That's a lot of numbers that we just went through. But we have a game for you guys. It's going to be Okami versus Katsu 3. Two of the better teams inside of these qualifiers. Should be some teams that you recognize if you've followed the last couple months of the Tier 2, Tier 3 scene. I am Jesse J. Chicken, again, going to be joined by Intrinsic as my co-caster, and the amazing Ty as our observer. Intrinsic, we're getting ready for our final match of the night. Are you ready, sir?
Yes, sir. We're going to be playing Clubhouse, which has tended in the past to be defensive sided, but we've seen some teams start to figure out the procedure to attack some of these sites, and we've started to see some attacking sided, like some of the teams winning on the attack side as I try to formulate these thoughts. And it's kind of the same thing we've seen on Villa as well. Sometimes the bans and the attackers are just good enough to oh, Kilo, my man Kilo.
Yeah, Clubhouse, as you mentioned, can be a little defender-sided, but depends how the bans go, really. We'll read off these rosters real quick for you guys. Benji, Lemon, Prompted, Z-Flak, and Kilo, of course, on Okami, and then Katsu 3 playing with Nog, Habibi, Rich, Makarov, and Six. A little bit of a different roster from Katsu, of course. Last time around, they played as Katsu 2. They kind of fell apart, despite having not terrible showing. I think they went, I don't know off the top of my head, but it wasn't bad. It was something like 6-3, which is pretty decent. And they've changed out a couple of members. They brought in the old Elevate core of Nog and Rich, which is a team that's had mixed results, I would say, in the past. Them coming back into the scene here. Excuse me. Yeah, them coming back into the scene has been, again, a bit of a mixed bag, right? They have played some Challenger League, gotten relegated by some Challenger League, and then, yeah, now they're back in the quals.
We will be getting started as we will be going to Clubhouse, like we've said before, and we will have Katsu on defense as Okami tries to break down the defense and go on attack. We will be going straight into the bans, of course, and as we get them, we'll be breaking them down for you, trying to get you a little bit of a preview as to what we might see in this map. And the first ban coming out pretty quickly from Katsu will be the Maverick, which, of course, on a site, or on a map, rather, that is as hard breach
Friendly?
centered on the attack.
Yeah.
It's hard breach centered, really, because when you think of the attacks, you kind of think of the walls that you have to open to do the attacks. For CCTV, you have to open up either CCTV wall, of course, or the construction wall. Basement, you have to open up the hatches. Gym bedroom, you have to open up to jacuzzi. The second ban coming out, very interestingly, will be a Monty, which is actually very interesting. Do you have any thoughts on that at all?
I mean, Monty, actually, we've seen just recently in, like, LATAM Pro League. This was played pretty well by, I want to say it was Ninjas in Pajamas who brought it out. So some recent play there, and I mean, it's also a very common operator in general on this map. Pretty much pushing any bomb site, he can find some success. Of course, pushing inside of the garage can be really, really strong. But even, like, pushing in the basement down dirt tunnel can be quite good as well. So not an unsurprising ban, especially if you know you're the team you're up against are really good on the shields, which clearly it seems like these two teams do. Then that's going to be a big, important ban for you.
I mean, yeah, even in the last map, we saw that Bowery was bringing out the Monty onto the bar attack. And it worked sometimes. We did see that OTF read into it and kind of brought the smokes, but they weren't quite able to effectively use those. And for the first site, we'll be going down to church. No surprises there, I'd say. And we will see the Jaeger for our switching to the Vigil, as well as the Bug to the Sledge. So in terms of both teams, actually, we'll see pretty similar roles. We'll actually see the Vigil move to Mozzie, which the Mute Mozzie combo, we talked about it last map. If you were listening, it was something that was very big just for the anti-intel for the attack. And so, yep. We will be starting on basement, and then we'll have a pretty standard lineup. We do see the double hard breach come out from Okami. And nothing too crazy. It's just you have a lot of hatches to open up, and then you might also want to open up church wall or even dirt. And it just having 2 hard breachers with the Maverick ban kind of opens up your options more and allows you to kind of get a little more flexible on what your attack plan is going to be.
10 seconds remaining.
So as the attackers look to start this
5
action
seconds to
phase,
insertion.
of course the Maverick being banned out means that they're going to want to bring all the hard destruction that they possibly can. That's going to be the Habana and the Thermite being brought. I don't know why I couldn't remember that off name. Thermite being brought alongside of the Habana. You're going to want to open up a lot of those hatches. You're going to want to then drop those hatches. Maybe you want to open dirt as well. You've got a lot of options as long as these guys can stay alive to get their utility down, which typically they can. Don't see a lot of aggressive play coming out from Katsu either. Of course, they've got most of their players in the basement. Rich, as our observer is highlighting, is probably the only roamer that we really have. There's people who can rotate up the blue stairs if they really need to. But Rich is sort of going to be left alone on an island. It's tough to get your players back downstairs, so that's going to be something Rich is really going to be looking out for. If he wants to play this super aggressively, he can stay up here and he can do his best to just stall for as long as possible before he dies. Or he can, you know, the second danger comes, he can try to make an escape back down one of those staircases. But based on these castle barricades and where he currently is, it feels like he's here for good. Oh no, he's got the hatch open behind him. Never mind.
Yeah, and that's something that we see more commonly, and it does seem that they've thrown a less crucial operator on it. Castle obviously putting all of your utility up in the beginning of the round. We do have that is Markov getting a pick onto Flock. I think I have that right. Flak, rather, sorry. And that'll be your Thermite off the board, and I do believe he might have gotten one of the hatches. So, yeah, we do have one of the hatch open. That is your kitchen hatch, and so that is kind of the center of your attack, as we do have another gunfight coming out as Markup getting another pick on a prompted, immediately refragged by Kilo, though. Well played from Okami as they're playing close enough together to be open for that refrag, and pretty well played from them overall.
A couple flashbangs being thrown down that hatch. As you can see, Katsu are having a good time defending. They've also got 6 playing pretty aggressively. He could go for a push right here, and he knows where the attackers are at. A beautiful play onto Lemon. Clearly having the intel advantage in that engagement. That leaves just 2 attackers. Benji's finding himself in a fight, but unfortunately loses 25 HP and then doesn't really deal anything else in return. That's an unlucky play by him. He's going to have to retreat a little bit. His teammate Kilo's going to fall down. He gets 1 kill to Nog, but it's not really going to matter. Katsu 3 take round number 1.
Yeah, and what we saw there was actually a pretty heavy roam from Katsu, which if you were familiar with the old rendition of what Clubhouse was, it was pretty standard to just have everybody downstairs on a basement hold. And even sometimes on this map, we see some teams just opt to have all 5 players downstairs just because it's easier, and it is still pretty tricky to rotate considering how many choke points there are on this map, where you pretty much only have 2 staircases overall. So the roam coming out from Katsu will actually catch Okami off guard, and so I feel like that's really the secret to their success on that.
I think that this Monty ban, of course, we're not really going to see its effects in this round, but it's going to be something that matters when we go into that half swap. Of course, Katsu, if they're really comfortable pushing with the Monty, I would be a little bit worried about how their pushes play out in the second half. They don't have that option available to them. So it's going to be important that they rack up rounds early on the defense. Already, Clubhouse is considered to be a pretty defender-sided map, and so when the enemy team bans out important operators in the defense for you, then it's really, really extra important that you can show up. So first round is good. You're going to need more than that. I'd say Katsu are looking for probably a 4-2 here. 5-1 would be nice. 3-3 is probably not going to be good enough for Katsu as they continue into round number 2.
5 seconds to insertion.
Yeah, and I do kind of want to point out, in case you're kind of new to this, what a Monty push would actually look like on Club. Is normally you'd see them open up dirt and have the Monty push down dirt, or on a CCTV hold, you'll normally have the Monty contesting the garage doorway towards your rafters, which when the Monty's off the board, you really have to get a little creative on how you push anybody off of rafters. And so it's going to be pretty interesting to see how Okami kind of approached countering the rafters hold, but it does seem that they're going to start going in on the east side of the map with Jacuzzi Wall obviously being there. And so that's going to be the initial entry, I'm pretty sure, as well as the counter push onto CCTV wall. So pretty standard push coming out from Kami.
Not a whole lot going down the first minute of this round. You can still see the attackers working away at the CCTV wall. They've got all the pieces to do it with. Of course, Lamon bringing that Thatcher, not banned out this time around, as we saw in the last matchup. Means that they should be able to accomplish this. You are worried about, of course, the bandit tricking, which is sort of the big problem in this scenario. If you can put somebody behind, can really start to cut off those positions. That'll help out quite a bit. Kilo looking at the window that he'd need to open up to do that. And there we go. The window being opened up puts a little bit of pressure on a Makarov, so he can't really be as agile as he once could. Can still go for those bandit batteries, especially if there's somebody like Habibi watching this window behind him. But it's going to be all that more risky, and he's got to be very careful where he steps, just based on where those attackers behind are playing at. Makarov will unsuccessfully bandit trick, and that's going to allow the wall to open on up. Meaning that's going to be a big old hole that the attackers can try to utilize when they go for their push.
Yeah, and one of the things that while he did bandit trick, the good thing about it is that he was able to pull back without losing too much of his HP. I actually think he kept all of his HP. So that's good for the defense of Katsu. And now it's going to be up to Okami to try to get these early picks to kind of crack open the site as they do enter the last minute of this site, or of this attack round. And Habibi actually playing close in the construction wall, might be trying to get a pick onto Prompted on the sledge, as we have Kilo on the Hibana trying to open up construction wall, pretty standard, and an unsuccessful C4 coming out from Markov as he does go underneath and tries to get the Hibana maybe possibly playing in construction, but it is going to be unsuccessful, and the only HP taken in this site, I'm actually going to stop that statement because I was about to say nobody had taken damage, but Benji getting a pick onto Nog, and Rich also getting a frag on a Prompted as Benji gets another pick on a Katsu, and Habibi actually adding onto the fray of kills as he gets a pick on a Layman with this shotgun, and we are going to see another one coming out from Kilo onto Rich as Kilo gets a double kill right back on Habibi, and that'll be Flak, coming back onto Markov, and that'll be a attack round successful for Okami.
I think that the intel gathering was really strong from Okami in that round, right? When you're pushing in sort of all at once, it's really important you know where those defenders are situated, and that's what Okami had in mind, right? They were pushing into that bomb sites, and they seemed to know exactly where the players they were trying to shoot at were at. So they were able to isolate them a little bit in that final hectic push and able to get those kills. Gun skill obviously being very important in those last second engagements as well. So well done to Okami. Again, this is one of those maps where it can be a little bit difficult to get those early rounds just because the defense have such a huge advantage being able to play these strong bomb sites. So very well done by Okami, I would say, that time around. The first half of the round was good as well. Not a lot of huge mistakes. It was kind of slow. You didn't really worry about roamers because there weren't really a lot of roamers that you had to worry about. There was a player down below, but his C4s didn't really turn into anything. So I thought that was fine. A really strong push in the end coming out from Okami. It could have gone bad if they missed a few shots at the last few seconds, though.
I think kind of the main thing to take away from that attack for Okami was that they pretty much had their plan in mind and they were able to execute it without too much of a hitch. I think the most spicy thing we saw that round was the bandit of Markov going downstairs to try to get a C4 into construction, which ultimately was unsuccessful, and nothing really came of it, which I feel like without the diffuser going down, the only thing you could have done with that C4 is try to go for the pick, and it being unsuccessful was one of the factors that led to Katsu being unable to hold the site. A quick thought, though, is that we do have the second electric operator coming out from Rich onto the Kaid, and we might see a little bit of a different play come out now that they have a little more options to utilize. And I'm not quite sure if that's Echo trying to get an early pick or just shooting something. I think he's just shooting something as he's playing pretty softly on that catwalks, and it seems like a pretty standard hold from Katsu.
Yeah, it'll be interesting if that extra electric operator helps them to hold that CCTV wall a little bit longer. That's clearly what they're going for. Last time around, it seemed like it was a pretty strong push to come in from construction to back up the players coming into that CCTV wall. So it's not entirely like that was the big problem last time, at least in my eyes. But either way, they feel like holding it's going to be useful to them in this round, and I can't really deny that. You did see on a drone a couple of seconds ago that there was somebody a little bit far off of the bomb site. So you've got a little bit of pressure far away. Six is up at the top of red stairs as well to try to hold on. So you're not too upset if these guys push in from down below. Nobody's down there this time around. Of course, Makarov could go for that rotate, but at the moment, that's not his game plan. So yeah, I don't think a terrible defense so far. We're about a minute and a half way through this round already, though, and it hasn't been a whole lot of work on this wall. So clearly, these extra electric operators are helping, at least in some sense.
I think another factor that we saw kind of assist with this bandit trick was that we had the ADSs coming out from placed a little later in the rounds that the first Thatcher charge didn't get it, and I feel like that ultimately led, because what team tried to do, and I think that's Benji on the Sophia, as prompted actually getting a pick on the Habibi, but the Sophia of Benji trying to shoot the stun charges in through the drone hole, but I think they had a shield up as well as the ADSs there. So they really didn't, or the bandit really didn't have to worry about getting Sophia charged, so he was able to complete his animation to get the charges down.
It's been a pretty basic push so far. I mean, you've dealt with the smoke. That's really, really important for you. You still got that echo inside of garage, which you might be a little bit worried about if you're Okami, but I think things have gone pretty well for you so far. You can start to try to work away at this construction wall. Now, of course, it being Electroclad is going to prove to be a pretty big challenge. Rich is able to put some pressure there as well, so you've got a lot of guns aimed at that construction doorway. Oh man, but Kilo wins the fight. That is not an easy shot, and he hits it on a 6 regardless. Those ACOGs can really be a huge help. Rich also being down. Thankfully, his teammates, though, stepping up. Makarov and Nog answer back with 2. Eventually, the downed player gets finished off, and you've got 2 defenders trying to hold on from 3 attackers. There's a drop from Nog. I don't know that I love that. Coming up the red stairs is Makarov, who gets punished. They can go for this plant 10 seconds, but that's going to be more than enough time for them. Nog again alone. He's got this yokai. Can it find the planter fast enough? No, it loses its own life. That's going to leave Nog all alone. 25 HP on that operator. Moving into the garage. He's got 1. Almost wins the gunfight. Eventually takes down Lemon. So now it's a 2-on-1. He's got 2 kills in the round so far. He's going to need to collect 2 more before he can go for that disable. This is going to be a tough one. He'll go for the reload. Top of red stairs again. Doesn't really know where these attackers are at. Firing in on all cylinders. Inside of Cash, there is 1 player prompted, sees the foot. Beautiful angle being held by him. Of course, the last player as well. Kilo outside on rappel. Time slowly ticking away. It's almost too late for Nog. He's got to go now or never. He's got the pings, but he's not going to push you. Nog, you got to go for the vault, even though it's not going to work out. Okami take it in round number 3 in a really well executed push by them twice in a row.
I feel like now more than ever, if you wanted a case study on what you're supposed to do if you're trying to cover the diffuser going down, is that sledge sitting right there watching for the echo drones that just drove through the CCTV door. And that is what you're supposed to do if you're playing the diffuse cover. Because there was a 1v3, the echo was nowhere near sight, so all you had to do was watch for the echo drones, and that is exactly what the sledge of Prompted did. Very well executed in terms of one of those things you don't really think about if you're not playing competitively, is watching for the drone as the diffuser goes down. Very well played from him.
Defenders,
one of the big things I'm also noticing coming from Katsu is there's just not a lot happening on their defense. They'll set things up in relatively standard holds. There's nothing out of the ordinary being played by them in most of their holds that I've seen so far. And then they just sort of sit there, do the default stuff, and wait for the attackers to push into them. There's not been a lot of big flanks that have worked out, right? The yokai plays haven't really amounted to anything exceptional. They kind of just sit there and wait for the attackers to do what they want. And when Okami have been given that freedom, they've been doing a really good job of getting rounds because of it. So I've liked that a lot from Okami, and I'm worried a bit from Katsu's holds, just because they don't seem to be doing anything too proactively. We are in Clubhouse, and sometimes just sitting back and turtling in can be a valid strategy here. But just in terms of the rounds that we've seen so far, I haven't personally really seen a lot to come from that, from their play. So something to look out for these next couple of rounds. For this time, though, they've gone to the basement and they put Rich on the Goyo. So we'll see how this one gets played. Clubhouse seems to be a big map for Goyo.
Yeah, definitely. Goyo being one of the go-to operators now. The new season has, or the new operator has been 17, and you see that they haven't been doing anything special, but I feel like Katsu's kind of relying on the fact that Clubhouse is pretty standard. There's nothing too crazy you can really do. They were able to successfully bandit trick, and I feel like that was very well played from them. But in the end, they were unable to secure the construction push, which once you lose, once you have successfully gained the bandit trick on a CCTV wall, you know that the push is going to come from CCTV. So I feel like that was failure to adapt from Katsu, and definitely a good capitalization from Okami, because they were able to secure the round after they were unable to get the CCTV wall open.
Already, some of these X-Kairos going to be utilized to open up some of these hatches. Again, Prompted doing a lot of work on these floorboards. I might have misseen that, but was that just a missed X-Kairos? Either way, Kilo is down, so it's not going to really matter if those hit or not. The hatches opened up, so clearly he hit his shots. That's going to make it a 3-on-5, though, and however those 2 players died inside of Kitchen, that is a huge disaster. You've got a couple more attackers sort of scavenging through the remains. Unlucky, apparently, according to Nog. Laymon's able to get another kill on a Makarov, so that's going to be another player gone to try to equalize the numbers. But all things considered, this has gone pretty poorly for the attack of Okami. It seems to be one of those bomb sites that they just can't get a grasp on. Already we're closing in on 2 minutes in. They haven't done a whole lot here. 6 taking a little bit of damage, you can already tell. Flak is holding that diffuser, but he isn't really in a position where he looks like he can get a plant off anytime soon. I don't love the way that this has gone. I like this hole, though. Opening things up for the Yokai. Unsuccessfully so far, but the idea was cute.
They were trying to get after it. Oh, Flak actually getting the plant down, though, in a spot that should be contested by Habibi, but no. Oh, the crossfire being held very well by Benji, as Nog actually going to get the pick back on the Flak. It's going to be a 2v3 now as in the post plant, as Nog rather getting a quad kill now, and it's all up to Layman holding the diffuser from above. The counter diffuser is going to come out, and it's going to have to be a vertical play as he does try to get the shots down, and he downs Habibi, I'm pretty sure, and it's now a 2v1 as a flank coming up from Nog. And unable to get the ace, it's now going to be a 2v1 with the counter diffuse coming down. If Layman plays this fight, this could be very well won, as the down actually coming out from Habibi, as I actually spoke earlier, and it's going to be up to 6, who has more of the HP and is actually going to get lit up a bit. He sees him and he actually gets picked. Now it's a 1v1. Layman going big on this counter diffuse. It's actually out of time now. I think this is one.
Yup.
Yeah, I don't think he has time. Very well played from Layman playing in Kitchen. I don't think Katsu really knew what to do after Nog was picked off on the flank by the Echo. I really don't think they were able to recover from that, as they were just running around with their like chickens with their heads cut off and unable to secure the defuse or get the kill. It was very confused from them, and it's unfortunate to see, so hopefully they're able to recover.
Nog, I get it. You've got the ace in your eyes. You want it so bad. He pushes aggressively, but it's a little predictable, right? Layman, I mean, you're playing up above. You only see 2 bodies below you. You know there's 3 alive. Of course there's going to be somebody flanking behind you. Not every player is going to realize that, but Layman's got a good head on him, so he turns around, finds the player who's flanking him inside a kitchen, wins that gunfight fairly easily because he has the game sense that push is coming. And then, yeah, playing the bars really excellently executed by him, and that's a 1v2 engagement. Gets the down player gets picked back up. Now he's got to get 2 more kills, and I mean, he gets 1, wastes enough time. Those bars really saving him in a couple of engagements. The enemy on the basement floor aren't able to shoot up at him, and he's gonna walk away with the win there. Beautifully done by Layman, and that's something that he should be very proud of.
Yeah, and if you're unfamiliar with Clubhouse, at this point, Okami has pretty much secured a solid half for them, as they are on the attacker half, and being that Clubhouse is historically a defensive-sided map, I will say already, early in the game, granted, so this could turn out to be that it's just an attacker-sided setup, or ban submitted attacker-sided, that Okami has been able to secure a very solid first half for them, as with 3 rounds, they are at minimum getting those 3 rounds, and that is a pretty solid half for the attack.
Makarov almost doing something interesting, but he gets caught on a drone and decides to fall back. I just don't love the way that this ban phase was played by Katsu 3, if I'm being totally honest. The Maverick clearly not being super detrimental, and the fact that you left the 2, and I'm gonna say better in that they can accomplish more hard destructors off of the board or on the board. They're gonna be there. The Thatcher's still there as well, so the attackers still have a ton of tools left for them. And again, you lost the Monty, so I get you're kind of relying on this half swap because the bans have gone your way, or have gone the way of the attackers in some sense. But it's Clubhouse. You still can't be giving out too many rounds. It's a 3-3 and the Monty ban doesn't manage to be too impactful, then I could see it being alright for the guys over on Katsu, but I'm worried about their position because, again, 3-1 down on defense on Club is never good.
And no, and while you might seem that or think that we're being hard on Katsu, they have what I feel they have done, as I struggle to get these words out, is they have met the components of a good defense. They have successfully banned a trick. They have gotten players that have gotten good frags. But where they seem to struggle is piecing all of that together to a successful round. And Okami has pretty much, even though they lose, like they aren't able to get CCT wall open, or they get 2 picks very early in the round, is they're able to recover, they're able to play with what they have left, and they're able to play at a deficit better or equal to or better than what Katsu's able to play at. So that's really what I feel like we're seeing right now, as opposed to just Katsu being unable to perform.
Even when they win the round, there's already some adaptation happening. You could see that the Volcan getting destroyed by a grenade early on so they can get that plant down when they go for the execute. I like that a lot from the attack. You're going to be coming into this drop 5-on-5, so there's a lot of angles you're going to have to watch out for, but you've got some bodies to throw away if you need to. You've got a lot of angles covered as well. Benji inside of blue can try to focus on 6, who's there. Rich trying to back him up as well. You've got some defenders in dirt tunnel, but that's not been the focus at all from Okami when they go for these pushes. Kilo already starting to plant. That's big. Again, in the exact same spot. His teammates are getting kills for him, but the yokai will stop him. 25 seconds, and Flak starts to get a couple of kills, but again, traded off. Kilo repositioning, able to get that yokai drone. That's important. His teammates getting kills as well. Benji with a double. That leaves it all into Rich with that TCSG. He's got the pistol out instead. Able to get his double kill. Needs 4 on the round to save it. The Kilo's planted, and now it's very dangerous. He spotted 1. That's not the planter. The planter pushes him, though. Default spot. He gets the headshot. The pistol. Oh, it's been big from Rich. Now pulls up the TCSG 12, but the player on the other side rotates up. It's Lame on. He's been here before. The defuse gets started, but he pulls off immediately. There's the bullets coming from the hatch. Rich got to be so careful here. Lamon with the health advantage. Again, fakes it. Oh, through the body. Lamon hits it onto Rich. That's a dirty one. Okami take it for round number 5 in very similar fashion. Lamon so good up above.
That was very well played from Layman. Layman, again, being a clutch player, able to have the ice in his veins, able to play it calm, able to play it smart, and that puts the 4th round on the board for Okami. A very successful split now, I feel, even if it is attacker-sided, that a 4 whatever split is solid. So very well played from Okami, as they did pretty much the exact same attack. It was pretty slow, so I was kind of concerned that the Echo drone might be a cause for concern, but they were able to get the Echo down, and it was all up to Goyo in a 1v3, I was pretty sure. And
Attackers need to locate
unable to have the
bomb.
TSG for the majority of his clutch, he had to go with the pistol, so he was able to get a pick on a Zofia, and from there, the plant had gone down, and Kilo and Layman were able to set up into a post plant, and Kilo unable to winning the fight, but lighting him up pretty well. It was probably about 5 to 10 HP at that point. I can't imagine he had much more. So overall, a very successful push. Time management kind of being a concern, but overall very well played from
So in round number 6, we see our first gym bedroom take, or hold, that will eventually turn into a take if the attackers are successful. And yeah, this has been relatively one-sided. As soon as we got past that first round, things have been going good for Okami. And those last couple of takes have been pretty coin flippy. Of course, both of them could have gone in favor of Katsu had just one player extra died on the side of Okami. But I mean, if a team is consistently winning in those clutch moments, it's not always just because of luck, right? I mean, you can always point to a team's resilience in the high-stress moments. That seems to be what we're seeing from Okami. Katsu, a couple of their players have been known in the past to choke. So maybe this is more of that situation, right? It's a high-stress environment. You're in the last game of the qualifier. These matches, when you're already so high up on the leaderboards and you need to keep those positions, they mean so much. The points are really top-heavy in these qualifiers, so you need to get those, like, top 4, top 8 is a must in these quals if you want to make it to the top 16 closed bracket. A lot on the line here for these two squads, and Flak opens us up with a kill on a Makarov.
Yeah, and you say that about the fact that Katsu unable to secure the win right now, but really you have to remind yourself, and again, we're not trying to be hard to Katsu, it's just the nature of the game. One team has to lose. Both teams can't come out here with the 3 points, so, or however many points you get for the win. This is not this standard Pro League play, I apologize for that. But basically, one team has to win, obviously, and Okami is making a very good case as to why they should be the team to win.
been a slow first half. These Goyo shields scattered around the map. Flat just decides, I don't care. I'll keep running around. You've already gotten one pick, and that's going to, again, make this a little bit dangerous for Katsu. They really need this round. A 5-1 split for the attackers is a terrible spot to be in. You really got to be sharp on your attack if you don't want to lose the match after a side like that. It's not unwinnable. Habibi's going to be important to stay alive. If he goes down, already, of course, losing most of his HP, that's going to be a ton of plant denial that you're not being able to work with. 3 successful plants in a row came out the last couple of rounds from Okami, so clearly this is a big part of their game plan. Flak throws in a few stun grenades, takes a bit of damage for it, though. He's burnt those ADSs, that's what he's looking for. The drones, really, really big. This is so bad when the position of the defenders is being called out like this. It's very hard to win fights.
Yeah, and as we come into the last 40 seconds now, we're going to start seeing the execute come out from Okami, and right now they are in the seat as they have the man advantage, obviously, as well as the HP advantage, where the only damage coming out, and not getting very aggressive, getting the pick on a Flak, as Layman actually able to get the refrag back on Habibi. That was the Smoke, who didn't have very much HP, as Six getting a pick on a Kilo, and Vigi immediately refragging it. Nox still being aggressive, as he is going to get down by Prompted, who was in the bedroom, as he throws a grenade out, but Goyo able to duck away, but Prompted able to secure it after he ducks away, and that'll be a 5-1 attacking split for Okami on the defense or the attacking side of Clubhouse.
Feels like in that round, the trades came in really clutch for Okami, right? You're pushing to that bomb site, you go small player advantage, just play your numbers, right? If one guy goes down, make sure there's somebody there to follow it up, and they did that a lot better than Katsu were able to. Part of that's just because they were on the attack and they can place their players a little bit more liberally than they could on Katsu. Of course, a lot of pressure being placed on the defenders, so it's harder to move around for them to reposition. But I still think that the information was really, really strong for Okami. And then, yeah, being there for your teammates, going for those trades was really important for them to secure that final round. So 5 in a row and a 5-1 scoreline, as you mentioned, is pretty bad on Clubhouse. This is... I mean, we've said it before, we're not trying to hate on Katsu, but man, they kind of look like they're lost.
Yeah, and there are a few factors that can come into that. Maybe Okami has just got a Katsu's number, or maybe that Katsu had a rough earlier 2 games. I mean, at this point, it's their last match of the night. They could be tired, they could be a little worn out, and it's just the Six disconnecting, but I think we are actually within the parameters for a rehost. I am not quite sure. I'm gonna have to leave that.
Yeah, so we'll have the rehost go down. Our observer will confirm to them that they can leave, and this round will be replayed. So we'll have to reset everything up.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, they'll all get out, and we will restart this round. So we'll let everybody fix their stuff, and we'll have to go through this whole thing to set us up. But we can talk about this match a little bit in the time that it takes for us to recreate the lobby. Is there anything that Katsu can do to come back from this deficit?
Okay, so, I mean, Katsu, it's a slow start, and there are a few ways you can kind of reset. You can kind of try to lie to yourself and say, oh, it's just attacker-sided, we'll get them on attack. And it could be that this rehost will even affect the momentum of Kat or Okami, who have gotten 5 rows consecutively, which Katsu obviously winning the first round. But ever since then, Okami has had a very dominant attacking side, and we will see the same operators, I'm pretty sure. So maybe a little bit of actually intel coming out for Katsu will help them out. But basically, you just have to reset at this point, because if you go in with this mentality of, oh, we're down 5-1, then you're not going to be in a position to overcome the challenges that a 4-round deficit can bestow upon you. And we will be getting this set up. Sorry for the delay. It's just the nature of the game. Sometimes we have players that disconnect. It is unfortunate, but we are better than what we have been. So we will go over the round history as we have played a majority of church, as we have 4 churches, as opposed to 2 CCTVs and 1 gym. So this map with the hard breach ban, it seems that the teams are opting for a more CCTV push, or CCTV. Man, I literally cannot talk. A church hold, rather. And That's kind of to be expected. Like even on the old clubhouse map, it was the more favored site, like if I recall correctly.
Yeah, way back when, before this map got buffed, certainly there was a very heavy favor towards Church, and then once the map got updated, it was evened out. CCTV kind of gained favor, but Church never went away in popularity, certainly. So, there's a lot of good defensive bomb sites, which is why we're really like stressing this is bad for Katsu not being able to win more than one defensive halves. Monty, Maverick, Mira, and Valkyrie are indeed our bans, which means everybody is ready to go. So as soon as we have everybody in the lobby and the teams say that they're good to go, then we will be going live here. I believe everything is set up correctly. It looks right to me. So Ty, whenever you're ready, let's start up this game. It is going to be Okami versus Katsu 3 going into round number 7. Again, 5-1 favoring Katsu 3. If you're just joining us, weird time to join. Of course, this has been a pretty lopsided match so far. This is the last match of the qualifier. A lot on the line here. The final few positions up for grabs, and we'll have to wait for everything to be said and done in terms of the Swiss format before we realize who is who's gonna be where and where the points are gonna be distributed. But at the moment, things look pretty good for Okami.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a very solid side for Okami, and they've had this coordination, and even though they've run into bumps in the road, they've been successfully bandit tricked, they are able to adjust, and I really feel like that's the reason why they're doing so well, is that they are showing up in the fact that they are able to take anything that Katsu is able to throw at them and able to turn it and throw it right back at Katsu. And that's the kind of thing you want to see in the Challenger League teams up to the Pro League teams.
Attackers need to locate.
If you aren't aware, this is a very big
bombs.
season for Challenger League, that the 2 top teams from CL will be automatically put into Pro League, I'm pretty sure, as there will be no relegations, as in North America is moving to a 10-team Pro League. And I'm actually not quite sure if it's going to be a 10-team Challenger League next season as well.
They've been
So very interesting stuff.
Yeah, sorry,
Go
they've
ahead,
been very foggy on the details, to be honest. There's actually no confirmation the top 2 CL teams will move into Pro League. It's kind of all a mystery, so we'll have to kind of wait and see. But yes, 10 Pro League teams next season means that it's more important than ever to show off your stuff in Challenger League. And
5 seconds
well,
remaining.
it's always important to show that you're there, you're worth it, and even in these qualifiers, I mean, you're probably not going to get picked up by a PL squad, by fragging out in
Defender has
open
left the
quals for
designated
CL, but
staging area.
this stuff helps you get noticed, you know, and putting up big performances, even if your team doesn't do too well, can be really, really good for name recognition and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, we even saw it last season as it was Two-Face, who I think actually won the first qual. I remember that I was with the Embers at the time, and it was actually surprising because a lot of people expected that the Embers, Leftovers, and Two-Face were going to be the teams, but they didn't quite expect Two-Face to be the team that took it in the first qual. So very interesting from them, and doing well in the qualifiers while not guaranteeing you the Pro League spot, obviously, and not guaranteeing you an org, is very good because it just shows that you have a history of being some of the best players and the best team in this T3, T2 scene that we are currently residing in.
So we've gone downstairs to Church Arsenal, and again, 2 defensive rounds to secure the map for Katsu. It's been a relatively standard defense for them so far. They've been holding downstairs. Typically, you don't run too many roamers, if any at all, and that's going to be the same situation for Okami. They don't want to get too aggressive here. They don't want to get too wild. Let's just play people down below. It's going to be really on Katsu to make the exciting plays and do something different, because what Okami have been working with has worked pretty well for them, and that's going to be a continuation. Benji with the opening frag onto Nog. I don't know where Steve was at. He's in blue where Benji was able to get that kill from. I don't know where his body's at. Oh, dropped the moto. So, yeah, gonna fall through that hatch and the long angle being played. Really well done by Benji to hit that one.
Yeah, and the most unfortunate part about that is that Hibana only having the 2x Kairos, meaning that at most she will be getting a crouch, or it seems like she's going for a vault hold, and I think it's actually going to get bandit tricked. So that is unfortunate for Habibi, as prompted able to successfully bandit trick, and that is all of your hard breach potential off the board. And with 1 minute left in the round, you pretty much are out of luck at this point. You are forced to go into the chokeholds that Okami are going to be very prepared to push against, and the C4 and the Echo drones coming out now means that a late push that Katsu are now primed to be forced into is going to be very tricky because you have to deal with C4s, you have to deal with your Echo drones, and you don't have the IQ, and all you're stuck with is the Thatch, who might have already used his utility, but we will see Benji getting one onto Mark 6, able to refrag immediately back onto Benji, so it'll be up to a 4v3 now with about 23 seconds left in the game, or in the round rather, and this is for match point, so if Okami is able to hold this out, they will be on match point as Prompted able to get one on the Habibi. As Rich walks in and tries to get the pick onto the smoke, he will get the down, and that is flag off the board as he almost gets another one, comes in with the pencil, but Prompted able to get the pick as Layman getting the one, or the last pick onto 6. Very well played from Okami as they have successfully put themselves onto match point at this point. And that is actually 6 rounds in a row.
It is indeed. There was a little bit of life at the end of it for Okami, or for Katsu, I should say. But that was really around the end. As soon as the hard destructors were denied, Nog dying early, and then the bandit trick as well being so effective. I mean, that was tough.
Yeah, I brought it up that now Katsu were forced to go into the chokeholds, and that's really not what you want to see, because that's what Church is such a good bomb site because if you can deny certain aspects of the attack, then the team is really forced into those chokeholds, and you're pretty much out of luck if you're your attack. You're gonna have to have overwhelming gun skill or utility at that point, and at that point Katsu really didn't have any of that, and Okami were able to secure the round, secure match point, and are in a very good position. They have 5 chances now to close out this match against Katsu, so hopefully we'll see them do that. We would very much like to see Katsu come back, but I think at this point there's just not enough life in the side of Katsu.
You got to imagine the spirits are not super high. Nog and the squad looking to make it at least not a 7-1 here. Huge mountain ahead of them. In terms of the operators they brought out, I mean, it's standard stuff. You've brought your hard destructors, which are going to be important. Your Capitao is very commonly used against this bomb site, so you can hopefully take control of this garage as well as help out your planters. But yeah, I mean, Nog needs to stay alive. Your hard destruction on Clubhouse is so crucial. Can't be getting bandit tricked like that. You can't be losing your lives early when you're playing those important roles. Probably going to play it a little bit safer this time around, but again, it could just be that like their momentum is so far gone that they just don't really care anymore.
Yeah, and a term that I kind of want to bring to your attention, everybody, is playing to win and playing to not lose, which at the end of the day, they sound like the same thing, but they're really not. So right now, I believe that Katsu are going to be playing not to lose. And at that point, you're kind of having the passive rhetoric. You're not quite being as crazy as you might be if you're playing to win. And right now, Okami are going for blood. There's blood in the water, and the sharks of Okami are circling, closing in for the kill, as within 2 minutes, we could be in a 7-1 victory for Okami. But at this point, we'll just have to go to the components of the attack as they try to open up the CCTV wall.
Yeah, really, there hasn't been a whole lot of things accomplished by Katsu, but that's not because they've been failing at the thing. They're just taking their time, right? They're going for those drones. They're doing what they have to, and there's the start. Lamon finding the kill on Makarov. That's going to be an important opening frag onto the Capitao, so that plant can be a whole lot harder this time around. Prompted being forced off of the bandit trick, but again, he gets away with his life. So the wall's opened up by Katsu. That's really important for them, but they didn't manage to get that extra cherry on top. And when you've already lost a player, not killing Prompted in that situation hurts you even more. So Prompted survives, and the rest of the team, of course, there as well to try to hold on. You got to get a kill somewhere or another. And as you mentioned, playing not to lose, there's no real roam game from Okami, and that's not a bad thing. That's a safe thing. That means that they've got all their players close to the bomb site. It's hard to pick off just one of them. You're going to have to kind of go into this bomb site and find somebody in particular to isolate with your squad. They're going to run on in. That's not the play, though. Prompted gets 2. Lamon with 1 as well. Habibi, the last player left alive, takes down Lamon, and this is all just falling apart. More likely than not going to be a 7-1. The ace clutch required from Habibi. He's looking into the CCTV window, but at this point in time, it's all but lost. He'll jump into construction. There's a player there waiting for him who wins the fight. Okami take the match, a 7-1 game, and a dominant one from them. Beautifully done.
Yeah, and it wasn't even just a dominant game. Like, they had 7 rounds in a row. Once after Katsu got the first round, there wasn't another round for Katsu. Like, it was just a Kami, and they really deserved this win. Like, really showed up. All the players were working at maximum capacity. Flack doesn't have a kill.
There's a rehost.
Yeah, oh, it's rehost. Oh, I'm like trolling, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, prompted went.
I look at that. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, probably not.
But they
gonna
all
go
deserve
that
it.
many rounds with the top fragger getting 4. That's the night, though.
It's just a bunch of
That's the week as well. The qualifier gonna be over after that game, so it was a fast one to close out the night. Means we can all head to bed early. That's encouraging, if nothing else. So I want to say thank you to everybody who tuned in. Huge thank you to all the teams who played over tonight, the games that we casted and the games that weren't casted, the games were cast on other channels, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, all of that. Again, there's a lot more games to be played. This happens 5 weeks in a row of open quals, and then there's closed qualifiers after that. So plenty of Tier 2 Siege to watch. Hope you guys enjoyed. A huge thank you to our observer who hopped in for this one, Ty, pretty last minute, so he did an amazing job. Put some love in the chat for him, and then Intrinsic as well, joining me for the cast for the first time. I really appreciate you coming in, man.
Yeah, I appreciate the invite. And again, big shout out to Ty. He's the next Marcio, as we saw, highlighting all the plays we needed to see. Very well done by him, and I appreciate him coming in. It was one of those, we had a late minute dropout, unfortunate circumstances, but then Ty comes in clutch and hits us 2 games. So I want to thank Jesse as well for bringing me in, and a good night.
So do be sure to follow the channel if you want to see more games. Again, we're starting up next week, Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern will be when the games remain for CL qualifiers. Go ahead and follow us all on Twitter as well. I'll link those in the chat. And until next time, goodbye, have a good night, and I'll see you then.